Hey everyone. So for my first manga review, I wanted to do a review of manga I just recently read, and is probably going to be one of my favorite manga to date that I have read. Now this manga is Mushishi. Now Mushishi, probably more commonly known for being out of print. Okay, it's by Del Rey. Mushishi is a one of a kind manga. Okay, it may not be everyone's favorite. Okay, but Mushishi's special in the fact that it has a bunch of individual stories making up the manga. Okay, that's one of the things that was actually made me nervous going into the manga because there was no plot. Okay, I kept hearing there was no overlying plot to Mushishi, which is true. Okay, there is no beginning and end of Mushishi, where you get this whole buildup of characters, then you go through your story, and then there's some closure at the end. You're not going to get that in Mushishi. Okay, but in Mushishi, you get a bunch of well-crafted short stories focusing around our man here, Ginkgo, who's a Mushishi, and he does his job with helping people understand Mushi. Now, to understand what's happening in it, Mushi are considered to be the purest form of life. Okay, the simplest form of life. They're kind of like just magical creatures, to put in essence, and not everyone can see them. Okay, most of the world, or most of people you experience, can't actually see Mushi. Okay, very few can. Okay, and then Mushishi are people who are essentially Mushi masters. Okay, they can definitely see Mushi, but they study Mushi. Some of them study a bunch of different types of Mushi. Some of them are specific to one type. Okay, but Mushi are like parasites in a sense that they infect or attach to a host. The host can be human, animal, nature, anything in nature. So you're going to have a whole bunch of different interactions with these Mushi, and you're going to see how each one interacts, which is really cool because no story really has the same effect. You know that there's going to be Mushi involved. Okay, Ginkgo's a traveling Mushishi where he goes around and helps different people with their problems with Mushi. But each time, yes, it's the same idea. He goes somewhere and tries to help people, but you get a different result because of the different types of Mushi that you're dealing with. So they all do different things. And then also, depending on what the host is or who's involved, whether it's humans, nature, or different animals, they react differently to the Mushi. Okay? They kind of hit humanity as a whole pretty well in it because you have people that mistreat the Mushi, even knowing how dangerous they are. If you ever hear with great power comes with great responsibility. Sometimes Mushi might give you enhanced effects, make you stronger, but then people abuse it. Or other times you might have Mushi that are healing people. Okay, someone's sick and then a Mushi helps heal them. Okay, Ginkgo's job here is that he's going to go around and help people with their Mushi problems. So our main character here, Ginkgo, is the Mushishi, where he travels around, helps people with their problems with Mushi. Okay, whether they know they have a Mushi problem or not, he tries to help them. Now, throughout you'll meet other Mushishi. Okay, so Ginkgo definitely is not the only Mushishi in the story. But he is definitely a unique Mushishi. He very much tries to help everybody with their Mushi problem. Or, I wouldn't want to say the problem, but want to help everyone with their Mushi situation. Okay? He wants people and Mushi to get along the best that they can. But not all Mushishi feel that way. Some Mushishi try to just kill Mushi. They don't want to spend the time trying to help people understand the Mushi. Okay, so Ginkgo's special in that case that he's always trying to help people understand. He wants them to know what's happening with the Mushi. Okay, now, saying before that it's all individual stories. There are some crossover times where you'll see things happen in one volume and it gets mentioned in the next volume. The only time that I'd say there are stories that are pretty important to have some background knowledge for is that periodically throughout the story, okay, and here's some of the other volumes, periodically throughout the story, they have stories about Ginkgo's past. So you get to learn more about Ginkgo and how he came to be who he is. Okay? And gradually it builds up to you get a pretty good picture of how Ginkgo became who he was. And I don't want to ruin anything because I think some of the Ginkgo stories or chapters are the best in the manga. Because this character that's almost like an unknown to you, because right from the get-go, you get jumped into a story where Ginkgo's walking around helping someone with a Mushi problem, and they gradually help you build up to what everything is. So, as you go through the manga, they give you different stories, different chapters where you get to learn about him, and it's a very rewarding experience because it's really cool to see how he became who he was. Now, one of the difficulties with the manga is, at first I thought it was kind of hard to keep track of everything that was going on. But as time went on, you get a good grasp of what's happening. A big thing in the manga is the artwork. Okay, the scenery in the manga. See if I can find a good piece here. The scenery in the manga is fantastic because nature plays a major role in it. Mushi definitely have an effect on nature and how they affect things like trees, even grass. So having everything drawn really well, it's very easy to see what's happening in the artwork. The only kind of issue I had with the manga is, as you see, I showed you 1 through 7. Okay, if you've seen the manga before, in the English releases, they only went with the single volumes 1 through 7. Then they made the 8 through 10 omnibus 3-in-1 edition. It feels at first kind of like the same quality. Cover quality is the same. But the paper is definitely thinner in the 3-in-1. See if I can find an instance where you can kind of see through the page. So it's kind of hard to tell here on camera, but if you look at like here, you can kind of see through to the artwork on the next page. Now, it isn't that awful. Definitely like the Viz 3-in-1 releases were way worse with the paper quality. So it's not that bad. It didn't really bother me that much. Just a small thing. I prefer having the singles than having the omnibus edition if possible. But for the English releases, they didn't really have that option. And I don't think I'm going to try and learn Japanese just to read those, but I'd probably save a lot of money on manga. So that is basically what Mushishi is. Mushishi, it's a great story. Okay, following the Mushishi Ginkgo around how he interacts with Mushi and others. I definitely recommend that you take the time to read this. Whether you read it physical copy, because I know it's out of print, so it's hard to get. Digitally, if you read on like Comixology, I know they have Kodansha sales all the time. You can download Mushishi there. The full series is on Comixology. Definitely find a way to read it. The other option you have is the anime, which I've heard is fantastic. I have not watched the anime. I have listened to the opening song for both seasons of the anime, which are both fantastic. So if you get the chance, maybe you might want to watch it. Watch the anime. I know season 2's on Netflix. And like I said, you don't have to watch the first season to watch the second season. Okay? You can go gradually through and pick whatever episodes you want to and watch them. Okay? There's no penalty in that. You're not going to miss out on anything. The only time, like I said, that you might have that situation is maybe like a flashback to Ginkgo of learning how he became who he is. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have questions or anything like that, please leave a comment, send me a message, whatever you choose. And if there's any other manga or something you want to talk about, by all means, please send me a message. Okay, love to talk about it. Whole point of this now is for us to be able to communicate about manga in a different facet. It gives me a chance to talk about manga that I'm reading and hopefully get someone interested in something they might not have read before. Okay, well, have a good one, guys.